From now.
Hey guys, this is Ruben Langdon, aka Dante from Devil May Cry, aka Ken Masters from Street Fighter, and also Chris Redfield from the Resident Evil series. And you are listening to the Kasanova podcast, the #1 podcast in Hawaii. Jackpot.
The Kasanova podcast, the #1 podcast in Hawaii, is brought to you by these contributors on Patreon. If you'd like to see more content like this more often, as well as more podcast reviews, impressions, early access releases, live streams, and original content, then consider becoming a patron today. All right, and welcome everyone to another episode of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova podcast. I'm your host, Mekel Kasanova, and I'm coming at you with another phenomenal interview. And I've got the honor and privilege, a true honor, to be able to interview the one, the only, your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber, the one and only Geekdom101. Now, if you are a fan of Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball, or Dragon Ball Super, or even Dragon Ball GT, anything Dragon Ball related, then you know who he is. This man is the authority when it comes to Dragon Ball knowledge. He produces top quality content, he has in-depth analysis, news, opinions. He runs World of Geekdom and also Speakdom as well. Such a cultured man, and it is such an honor and privilege to have Geekdom on the show. So if you're ready to do it, I'm ready to do it. Let's go ahead and welcome Geekdom101 onto the show. And welcome everyone to another episode of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova podcast. I'm your host, Mekel Kasanova, and I've got the honor, the privilege of having the one, the only, the iconic, I gotta throw that in there too, Geekdom101. Man, Geekdom, go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
well, first thing I have to say is, all right, don't work me, all right? Is Kasanova your real last name?
No.
Just making sure here, all right? Because just making sure. Yes, I'm doing well. How are you?
And I'm doing fan-fucking-tastic. Like, having you on the show, man.
I have a good time, bro.
Damn right. And for the audience, we've been trying to get this going for a while. I fucked up on my end on the timing.
Oh, wow. It was like 4 days. What are you talking about? I was pretty quick to respond to you. Usually it takes longer.
Dude, that feels like forever in the podcasting game. You know that.
I guess. I mean, the thing is that I would have probably not seen your tweet at me if it wasn't for somebody liking it that I have mutuals with, because I get so many ramifications that I just don't see it. But when I saw that, I was like, okay, I'll do it, because I don't mind doing. I like doing these things sometimes to kind of unwind and to, it's more relaxing sometimes to be with someone else on their show than always being the host of your own content, because you're kind of riding solo. And because a lot of my friends who did YouTube around the same time as me, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have kind of gone down to being either part-time YouTubers or not even doing YouTube at all. By the way, folks, I'm a YouTuber. Unfortunately for people who don't like YouTubers, too bad. But anyways, and no, I've never made a video about Japanese suicide forest, so you're safe with me. But you know what I'm saying? Even though I just went to Japan, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I do these less and less, and I miss doing them. Being a guest or being a co-host sometimes can be just as fun as being a host. So.
Yeah. It's definitely that, man. And again, having you on the show, dude, I'm starstruck right now.
Don't
I've been a fan for
bro.
years, bro.
Well, I appreciate that. Trust me. If it wasn't for you, there would be no me, bro. All the millions of women that I have in my living room and all the cocaine I have in front of me is all because of you, bro. Thank you. No, no. The thing is that I was intrigued by you because of your professionalism and the way your production looked on your YouTube and on your Twitter. Everything looks very professional, and that's always a nice thing. I mean, you look a lot more professional than I did when I first started. I look like a damn sixth grader, doing this, but so that is a good thing. It's always good. It's always nice to dress up your content very nicely, folks. But remember, if your content is shit, you can listen. You can put lipstick on a pig, and it's still a pig. You know what I'm saying? But yours isn't. So, by the way, if I throw around 80s puns, it's all good.
Oh, dude, we're all about it here. No, and that's the thing, man. Like I've been podcast. Well, okay, I've been on YouTube for about 3 years. By August, it'll make 4. And I've been podcasting for about 2.5 going on 3 years now. And it's just one of the things I've just always realized is you've got to, like, again, the quote you just made about putting lipstick on a pig is still a pig.
Bro, like you can spray perfume on a piece of shit, but it's still a piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
Don't eat it, please. You can put ketchup on it, but doesn't mean it's good for you,
Exactly. And I've always seen how, like, people try to be the next somebody else, especially when it comes to YouTube and YouTube gaming. Like everyone's trying to be, an angry video game nerd or Angry Joe or someone else. And I've always said, like, man, you can't be the next someone else because you're not them. And if you got to choose between being a cheap knockoff of someone else or being the first you, then fuck, I want to be the first me. I don't want to be a Dollar Tree knockoff Chinese.
Great value, bro. You don't want to be. You know what though? I have some great value food in my fridge, so who am I to talk? But you don't want to be like great value PewDiePie. Yeah. Well, I was podcasting. It's funny. I started podcasting in 2008, and I was the co-host for a little show called the Angry Marks Podcast Network. Stevie J's, and I love that I'm plugging them to this day. And then I did a little spin-off show called the Super Friends Variety Show, which would air Wednesday nights live. It was a live radio show. And that taught me how to talk, on spur of the moment. I'm still not the best at it. I'm not like a Mark Ellis level guy. I'm not like Adam Carolla. I don't have that kind of talent. But, it does help, and now people are always amazed when I tell them this, but I have not scripted a video in 3 years. And people watch my content like, how the hell do you not script it? And it's like, where do you have your knowledge from? And I do the Andy Dufresne from Shawshank. I point at my heart and I stay right here. And I point at my head and I stay right here. But I take notes. I do bullet points. But I think part of the training for that was doing the live podcast, because obviously we record these things, we can edit them if there's a mistake, but
yeah,
boy oh boy, when you're live, it's a different animal, and there were technical difficulties. But it's crazy that I started to do it in 2008, and I wanted to do it for a living. I wanted to actually be like an internet personality, but not covering Dragon Ball, more so just kind of being funny. And let me just tell you right now, those shows are very un-PC, bro. If those shows came out now, cancel Geekdom would go hashtag. Bro, we had jokes about, it was very controversial, bro, but it was all in fun. It was just very edgy, like Eddie Murphy 80s type stuff.
Yeah.
Right. But what do you call it? But it didn't take until 2016 actually to where I actually started to make this something that I could do for a living, and that I'm hoping people out there will listen to this and be like, yo, like, and learn from this and understand that these things don't happen overnight. Sometimes it takes years and years and years of trying and failing and reinventing yourself and figuring out what your niche is and this, that, and the third before actually getting to do this full time. It really is something that takes years sometimes. I have friends that got on in 6 months, and I have friends that are still trying to get on. So, and when I say get on, I don't mean like quote fame, because that's stupid, but I mean like, do it for a living, or at least do it to where it's supplementary income enough to where you're happy,
Yeah. I So I went full time on YouTube, or more so podcasting, but full time as a creator back in, I want to say September. I was working as a senior systems analyst at one of the hospitals out here for
Oh
years.
no, you were in IT?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm having freaking flashback. I'm having Vietnam level PTSD now, bro.
So you know.
Of course I know. I was an engineer for 10 years, bro. What do you think I did during the before Geekdom101? I know.
Bruh,
I know. Trust me.
Bruh, like when I put in my 2 weeks notice, like the hospital was throwing all kinds of bullshit, trying to be like, no, we ain't trying to let you go. You know, we can't. We got to fill this position. You know, you need to stay and train on other people. I'm like, yo, 7 to 8 years, I'm done. And people don't understand when you go into like IT or engineer, anything like that. They don't understand. You're never off. You're never like
When you're at a high level. I agree. When you're doing like A+ certified call center work, that's different. But when you get to that degree where you're a systems analyst or a systems engineer or a systems administrator, yeah, you're never off. I mean, if you get to that level, but some people never want to even get to that for reasons you just named right there, bro. I don't want to be out, with my family at 8 p.m. and then the server goes down and I got to stop what I'm doing. And there are jobs like that, bro. There's jobs where you go into, there's
been times that happened to me.
I know, bro, dog. I remember I'll tell you a quick story. I went to go see Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer in 2000. What year was that? 2005, 6, 7? Something like that.
I think. Yeah.
And at that time I was working as a field network engineer. And I remember I got a call. I was already off the clock. It was 6 o'clock and my phone rings in the movie theater. And I'm like, okay, I just turn it off. I didn't turn the phone off. I just, canceled the call. Then the phone rings again. And I'm like, fuck. So I turned the phone off, bro. I was like, fuck this. I don't care. I was like, screw this. And this guy in front of me was like, hey man, turn that fucking phone off. Like, white guy, bro. This is a white old man with golf shorts on, bro. Like, I couldn't believe it. And I told the guy, I said, bro, man, stop cursing when there's kids around, because there were kids everywhere.
Yeah.
And then he goes, all right, buddy, I'll see you when you go outside. So I'm over here like, and by the way, in my lifetime, there have been 3 different times where I've almost gotten into a fist fight at a movie theater, and it's always with these old white guys. I swear to you, bro, it's so weird. It never gets down to it getting physical, but three times it's almost happened. So I'm over here watching the movie, bro. You know how it is when somebody threatens you if you're from the hood, because I went to high school in the hood, bro. I grew up around Hispanics and, all kinds of minorities. So I'm over here like watching the movie, like getting gassed up. Like, okay, what's this guy going to do? Like, you know what I mean? Thinking,
right.
Who's he with, And then I noticed he's with his wife. And I was like, he's probably not going to do anything. And then when the movie ends, hey, buddy, I'm real sorry about that.
Right.
Like, it's okay, bro. I'm leaving now. And that was it.
Bruh.
The dude apologized, man. I was like, but as I'm watching the movie, I couldn't even focus on the movie. It sucked anyways, but I couldn't even focus on the movie because I'm over here thinking about this dude. You know what I mean? And because I have that brain where I'm like, okay, I have to protect myself physically now because this dude's talking about going outside or whatever. And, and I was ready to roll, but I didn't want to throw down with that guy. I just wanted to watch a damn movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, back to the systems engineer thing. No, what people don't understand about IT, because I think when we grew up, it's all about like computers. They're the future. And they are, and the present. But when you're in IT, bro, number one, you're in school the rest of your life because there's going to be a new operating system that comes out every year, every few years.
Yeah.
And, you have to learn. And especially if you're doing like stuff like PowerShell and SQL Server, I hate it, bro. And then like the thing that irritates me about that is, if you go and you get your certifications, let's say you go and you get your MCSA and all this stuff, when you actually get into the work field, it is nothing like what the tests are. Because
nothing.
The tests prepare you for like nothing, bro. You know what I'm talking about. When you take like your Microsoft certified exam, right? So they're over here talking about, only Microsoft proprietary software and hardware. But when you actually go work for a company, whoever the previous engineer is, or whoever started the company or whatever, they've got all kinds of different stuff. You might have a Sun Microsystems router. You might have a Cisco router. You might have a firewall from this person. So you're not trained in all these things. You're only trained in like, you know, Microsoft or whatever, Cisco. And then it turns out that like you have to basically learn on the job. And if you're not fast enough to learn, you know, it ends up catching up to you. Now, my issue is that a lot of the companies I was with never really trained me. Like I had to learn on my own.
Yeah.
The training was trash. And I don't know if it's changed. I haven't been in IT in about 5 years and I never want to go back. Never want to go back, bro. We could do another podcast someday about IT horror stories.
Right.
And you know what's crazy is most of the stories aren't even the customers. It's management that.
Yes.
You know?
Dude, so the hospital I worked for, they made me the senior systems analyst. I didn't even go, like, I went from call center, from like, what was I, like call center? No, not call center. I was help desk, like 6-7 years ago, and I went from that to senior systems analyst like that. Because they had no one to fill that position, right?
That's
every time
problem that right there. I'm glad you said it. They thank you for the promotion. Can you teach me how to do this shit, please? Because I don't know. And
right?
I know I'm with you, bro. And I'm glad that you got the promotion, but I can imagine the level of stress was probably doubled.
Yeah, dude. Like, I tell people all the time, like a lot of people, especially out here in Hawaii, like the company. Oh fuck it, I'll just say it. The company's called Hawaii Pacific Health. So people out here in Hawaii, like if you're trying to work in the medical field, being like a nurse, a doctor, or going into IT, that's the company you want to work for. And everyone's like, man,
I hope this YouTube thing works out for you, bro. That's all I'm after what you just did. Go ahead.
Bro, there's no going back. There's no going back.
They're out of business?
No. It's
I mean, you're stuck on that island, bro. So you've only got a few options. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like everyone out here is trying to get into that company, and they're like, oh, you know, I get there, I'm gonna retire in it, and you got so many people fucking miserable in that company.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, because I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's how it is, bro. Like, it's my dream to work. Like, for example, Google. People want to go work at Google, and it's like, do you understand the level of stress that those people are under? Like, yes, you get to ride your bicycle to work and wear freaking shorts at work. That's lovely. That's great. Google gives you free food. I've worked for companies that have given me free meals, free everything, all sugary, of course, to keep you awake, and all this stuff, right? And it doesn't matter, bro. It does not help your stress. In fact, in some ways, eating poorly could actually hurt your stress when it comes to working at these places. But I mean, that's one of the issues. Plus also management. What pisses me off about IT is that managers get management positions based on their knowledge as opposed to based on their people skills. So you've got somebody who's a manager who knows how to work the entire system, which is great. Don't get me wrong. That's useful, but they're not really people. So what ends up happening is they treat people like shit. Yep. And as a result of that, you either get really miserable at your job and you hate it, or you quit, or you start to hate your job. So when you hate your job, you end up working less hard and you end up getting more frustrated, maybe passive aggressive. Like I don't know about now, man, but when I was in IT, I had a few jobs that I totally loved, but there was a couple that I legit despised, but I was always man enough to quit whenever I wanted to. Like I've never been the kind of guy, because I saved my money, I've never been the kind of guy to stick around at a job and, be miserable at it. I've quit so many jobs, bro. And I'm not a quitter. It's just when you get past a certain level of disrespect, and to where somebody's actually disrespecting you or not appreciating your contributions. And if you talk to management to try to get in a better position or to fix it and it doesn't work, it's time to get out, bro. It's time to get out. And people are so afraid to quit their jobs. And I was very lucky. I didn't have no kids. If I had kids, it would have been a different story. Then I would have been even more miserable. But because I didn't have any kids, I was able to just say, fuck it, I'll quit and I'll find another job. And luckily I was able to do that. But there were a couple times there where I couldn't. That's how it is. I don't mean to take up the whole thing, but I'm just
no.
You gave me PTSD, bro.
No, and that's just how it is. It's just like I've tried so many times, like explain to my family, like like in-laws and parents and siblings and whatnot, and then just friends are like, man, that was a dream job, why would you quit that? I'm like, I was working, and people think, oh, you're in IT, you're working a 40-hour week. No,
crazy.
You're not.
They know nothing unless you're in, they don't know. And you know what's crazy, dog? You think I'm kidding about the PTSD? I still have dreams. I'm not even, dude. I have made significantly more money with Geekdom101 and World of Geekdom than I ever did as an engineer, and I'm happier, and I've met lots of great people. And you have hard days at the office, like trolls and YouTube algorithm fucking you, but I have been so happy, and every year's been like a better and better year as far as my own mental health, as well as far as my bank account goes. And yet I still have dreams where I'm either looking for a job or I'm working a job at IT. And some of these jobs are jobs that I haven't had in like 10 years. Like, it's still in my brain in there, bro. Like I have flashbacks of being in a cubicle again. And now that I do this for a living, I never be in a cubicle again. I don't know if people understand, but when you're in a cubicle, there's like a psychological
it's a mind fuck.
It is a mind fuck. Yeah, like when you watch Office Space, that really covers it, but not as deeply as I think it should have. You really are like, they do that cubicle gimmick to make you feel like a prisoner, and it feels like you are. You know?
Yeah.
It sucks. Yeah. It really sucks. And the money could be good, but is it worth the stress? That's the question. But not everybody has a stress. There are people who are very happy. It's just not for me. It might be for, if you're listening to this, it might be for you out there, but it's just not for me. And it was for me for a while, but they beat you down, bro, year after year after year,
No, I tell people all the time, I'm like, I was making, be completely honest, I was making 100. I literally started making within the last year like 100K a year. When they gave me my last, it was really good money, but it got to a point where I'm working round the clock. Literally, 70, 80-hour weeks, if not 90 hours. I was not only carrying my platform, so I was running this platform called Peer Connect by Genesis, and it's similar to like Cisco. So I've got to run that. Every year we're doing a new system upgrade. Then I had to, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I had to run the Epic medical system. I had to make sure my application worked with it. So I had to get Epic certified. I had to be the IT because, you work with a call center with, doctors and nurses who don't know anything about computers. And that's the other thing people don't understand about medical industry. There's a lot of dumb fucks in that industry that if you knew how stupid these people are, you would never let them prescribe you anything or put a needle in you. Because I've worked with so many nurses that are either on some type of drug or hungover or fucked up, and they're administering the wrong medication to some people. And it's like,
that's a malpractice suit waiting to happen, bro.
It is. I mean,
I can tell you that too, because I also, when I was for a little while, I did IT support for some different hospitals locally in Florida. Different. It's similar, like not exactly what you did, but I was doing support. And the thing about me is I was always really good with the customers. That's the thing. I'm very customer friendly. I was really good with them, and I'm very good at explaining technical things to non-technical people. Even the simplest things, like to get to safe mode. Start pressing the F8 key. Keep tapping it. Keep tapping it. Keep tapping it. Keep going. Okay, what do you see? I'm very good at that kind of stuff. So that was that. I personally was good at it, but I agree with you in that there were people who like the simplest things. Even though there are phrases that they don't even understand. Like when you tell somebody like hard drive and okay, what hard drive do you have? They don't have no idea what the hell.
No.
You actually have to you have to explain it to them. Like, where's your? Oh, I'm missing my H. What do you mean your H? Your H drive is it a local drive? I don't know. What does that mean? Like you have to actually like break it down, you know, and that's at different levels. You don't have to. I'm not talking about just help desk. Even the tippy top IT guys have to deal with that to a certain degree, you know.
Yeah, dude.
Not as much as help desk, but you know.
Oh God, that helped, dude. That right there could be a whole podcast, like just talking about the horrors of working like help desk. Because you literally, and for people who don't understand it, if you ever work help desk, you have to know everything, and you cannot say I don't know.
Right. Oh, I thought you were trained in IT. I thought you were trained computer guy. I thought you knew everything. It's the same thing with. I'll never forget. I've actually dealt with that since I was a little kid, getting into computers. I remember when I was a little kid, I was like maybe not that little, but I was like 14, 15. I've actually never told the story before. We're going into some deep cuts here. My dad's friend was like, hey, I got a new computer. Come over and check it out. Maybe put some games on it. This is back in like 99. Like this was Windows 98 second edition era. And I was like, okay. So I go over there, bro, and this is I'm not even shitting you. This computer, I don't know if it was excavated from a freaking archaeological site, bro, but it was running DOS 3.0. DOS 3.0. Now, I was lucky enough to, when I was a little kid, my older brother taught me a lot about PCs, so I had used DOS 6 and Windows 3.1, Windows 95. I lived through all that shit. But I've never seen DOS 3.0. The machine had like kilobytes of RAM. I don't remember it was 4 or 8. And I'm like, and they wanted me to install games on there, like games from 1998. And I'm like, you do realize this is too old. All of us, I thought you knew about computers. I thought you knew what you were doing. And then the same thing happened with a friend of mine. A friend of mine's uncle invited me over to their house to fix their computer. Again, I was in my teens. This is when you're younger and because back in those days, if you're, I'm Hispanic. So most of the people that my parents and their friends were immigrants from, Cuba or Puerto Rico or wherever, Cuba for us. And I would go to their house and their computer would just be trash. And they expected me to be Jesus Christ and work a miracle. You know what I'm saying? I can't do this, bro. Like, the dude had like, oh my God. It was like I installed the modem. The computer wouldn't recognize it. I'm not satisfied. Well, too fucking bad, bro. Get another computer. Like it's my fault that you have a brick. It's mind blowing. Yeah, they expect you to know everything, bro.
Oh God! And people when they watch or listen to this, they're gonna be like, "What?" They're like, "We're not even getting into like the meat of it." I'm like, "No."
Well, I hope that they don't bitch about this not being about Dragon Ball, bro. Because damn, you know what I mean. Look,
right?
Very few people love Dragon Ball more than I do, and have spent as much money as I have on Dragon Ball throughout the years. But even I can't only talk about Dragon Ball 24 hours a day. Even though I think some people think that's all I care about. I really can't just talk about that. I can't. I will lose my mind. I'm already losing my mind now, 5 years talking about it, so I need a vacation.
No, but
This is my vacation.
And that's the other thing too. Like I like that you have the Speakdom as well. And you just talk about anything that's your interest in. Dude, I fucking love that. I fucking love that you just
like that second channel more, bro. The World of Geekdom, because I get to say whatever I want and not just talk about Dragon Ball,
Yeah.
It's less professional, but sometimes that's better. But it's a dump channel, yo. Not in the bad way, not trying to discredit it, because I'm very happy with that channel. But it's just, I have something to say and I'm gonna say it. There's like no editing on that channel, and that's it's like this, like what we're doing now, and I'm okay with that for that channel. Geekdom101's got nice editing. That one is like whatever. It's just more, let me say what I gotta say.
Yeah. And before we dive any further into it, can you tell people where to find you? I know this is like 26 minutes into the podcast.
Well, if you were clever, you would edit this at the beginning of the pot. No, don't do that, bro. So have you ever had an interview, bro, where somebody, I've actually had to happen twice, where the guy's like, hey, so is there any way you could edit this part into like 18 minutes? No, I can't. I don't remember. I don't want to worry about it. Like they'll say that to you. They'll be like, yo, can you like move this part to the beginning? And no, I'm not doing that. I mean, Geekdom101 is my channel. World of Geekdom is my second channel. Geekdom101.libsyn.com is my podcast. And what else do you want me to plug? Like social media stuff?
Yeah. And I'm also going to leave all that down in the description of the podcast and the video version when it goes up too.
Okay, well, thank you. Instagram.com/geekdombigd, and then Twitter.com/emperorbigd, and then Facebook.com/geekdom101. So if you're wondering why some of my names on here involve the word Big D, I assure you it is not reflective of my penis size, because that would be a lie. It's a nickname I got in 7th grade that I just kept. So it's not to do with my dick. Because let me tell you something. If you think my dick is small now, in 7th grade, brother, pass me the microscope. You know what I'm talking about? So, anyway,
God.
that's where you can find me.
So I gotta ask. You're
gonna ask about my dick size, bro? Please.
No. Okay. I was gonna say, you said so you're Hispanic. So yeah. Dominican, Cuban.
Remember I mentioned that earlier. Yes, okay. Bro, I'm in Florida. What else could possibly be in Florida? You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean,
like Florida looks like the United States is pissing on Cuba. Like if you look at a map of the U.S., right? Florida's like the U.S.'s dick, and it's like pissing on Cuba. So we're right there, bro. But you know what? There are a lot of Puerto Ricans and Mexicans and Dominicans here, so I don't really blame you for asking. But I mean, let's be real, bro. Miami is the biggest city in Cuba. Just think about that for a minute. Think real hard about that, and it'll make sense to you.
So many people ask me, they're like, you know, I get it a lot because, you know, I'm Dominican, Samoan, Hawaiian.
Oh, you're Dominican and Samoan?
Yeah.
So is it true that Samoans have really hard heads and crack a coconut with their head? Is that true, or is that a stereotype?
But well, it's kind of true.
Yeah, no, because I've heard that, like, it's not even a racist thing. Like, I've heard that Samoan people have, like, literally, like, evolution to have harder heads, bro. Like, I would never want to. If I ever scrap with Samoan, I'd go for the body, bro. I wouldn't go for the head.
You got to. You have to.
I go for the kidneys.
Dude, it's so crazy. Like, I hear so many things, like, when people, like, asking, like, oh, are all Samoans related? I'm like,
no, yeah, well, the answer is yes. We're all related to The Rock, bro. Just say I'm right. We're all related to The Rock, bro. And Roman Reigns, and we're all cousins somehow.
Yeah, it's like what's the family tree? Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Yo, I got a crazy story about Samoa, dude. Back in the day when, because I'm originally from Western Samoa, right?
Oh, okay. So you're from there. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So like one of the crazy things is like when we first got, I think, both in American Samoa and in Western Samoa.
When you first got electricity? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Bro, believe it or not, there's actually an island out here in Hawaii with no electricity.
That's weird. But I mean, that's not that crazy. But are there people living there?
Yeah. Like you can't even go to the island without an invite.
What are they hiding there, bro? Mysterious Samoan sex cults.
Right. I'm just saying. It was a Nihao. Like you can't go to that island at all.
The old Illuminati men meet up there once a year to plan the future of the world, bro, in that island with no electricity. That's what it sounds like to me, bro.
They got to.
The Bohemian Grove on that.
No, but
you with your thing. Yeah, it's you first. Yeah.
So like this crazy story about Samoa, right? So when we first got McDonald's, and this is like what 20-something years ago, when we first got it, dude, within I think an hour and a half, not even 2 hours, their whole thing was gone. Like we cleared it out. Like and it's one thing of it is one road around the island. So
I mean, dude, but that I worry about the whole Samoan people there because you might be shorting their lives at this point now with this. Because if you're all eating healthy and then McDonald's shows up, I mean, Samoans are already kind of chubby as it is, you know, just by evolution. That's going to end up blowing everybody up.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you see, and I get a lot of shit for this, but like Most Samoan women are they're one of two things. They're either very skinny like a twig, and usually if they're skinny like a twig, they're mixed with like some type of European, Italian, or something like that, right? Or German. But typically a lot of them, and this also goes for Hawaiian women as well, and other island women, a lot of them can be, dude, they're like Roseanne size, like
well,
huge.
there's people listening to this that have only seen Moana, and they're blowing their minds right now, bro.
They're like, what? You guys are like beautiful, and you have tiki huts and all this other stuff, and you have grass skirts. No.
Well, I mean, but they're all very Samoan women are all very strong from what I understand too. And I don't mean like physically. I mean like from what I understand, a lot of them are like very just very strong-willed. You know, they're headstrong, no pun intended.
Yes.
That was a good pun, but
I
wasn't intending it to be a pun, but yeah.
Bro, I would never cross my mother. Like it is so crazy too. Like when you meet a Samoan woman and you see how like strong-willed they are, and then you meet other women and they're so like passive aggressive or meek and mild, and you're like,
I want to stick with the Samoan.
But and I kind of did once before I realized like it's kind of hard dating a Samoan woman because you might be related to her. She might be your first cousin. She might be your second cousin. You don't fucking know. And yes, people, I've had the experience once, and it was pretty fucked up.
So you were wait a minute. All right, no, wait a minute. You can't do that. So you were making out with your cousin, bro, not realizing that she was related to you,
bruh. I didn't even know that my mom had a sibling in Australia. Well, not Australia, in New Zealand, right? Had a brother. And he had, his daughter, one of his daughters, right? I know this is a fucked up story, but, we keep it raw and edgy here. So I wasn't, dude, I was past making out. Her and I were a thing.
Whoa.
And then come to find out this one day, bro, I shit you not, my phone rings and the girl, she answers it. And my mom's like, who's this? And she's like, oh, this is such and such. She's like, aren't you? Wait, you're what's his name's daughter? She's like, yeah. She's like, who are you? I'm your auntie. And then like I come out of the shower and she's like, we can't be together anymore. I'm like, wait, what? And then we come to find out, yeah.
You know what, bro? If the pussy was good, I'd be like, let's just move to Alabama.
Bruh, pussy was moist.
Bro, okay, then I wasn't gonna go there, but hey, I just feel like that sucks though, because that's like in a way it's heartbreaking. It's you feel so awkward. I'm glad you shared that story here with everybody because I'm gonna promote this interview and you're gonna get a lot of people watching it. So I'm glad you shared that story. I've never had that happen to me, thankfully. All the cousins that I fucked never told me they were my cousins. So no, but so you're probably better off dating like non-Samoans at this point,
Yeah, so like my wife now, she's Hawaiian, but we don't have,
or when you go on the first date, have a checklist of all the possible fucking relatives that she might be related to, bro. Are you related to Bampupu? Check them all off, bro.
Be like, wait. Let me get a blood sample. Let's go to ancestry.com. Like who's your family? Who's that on your side? I
don't want the baby coming out with 3 eyeballs, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's a smart thing.
But yeah, it is crazy. Like, and my wife now, like, yeah, we're not related at all. And I'm like, thank God.
Thank God, bro. Hopefully you realize that before you put the ring on it,
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say, man.
But
let's take our time here.
Yes, people, especially, if anyone who's out here in Hawaii or any of the islands, just make sure they're not your cousin. Because,
I'm from an island, too. I'm from Cuba, and we don't have that problem there. I don't know why y'all have that problem. A little bit bigger, I guess. I don't know. And we don't have that issue, bro. And I have a big family, bro, because, look, my grandfather had 14 kids.
Holy shit.
3 different women. Yeah, it's a thing over there. Because see, in Cuba, we don't have, well, now it's different, but I mean, back in the day, there was no, like we had 3 channels as far as television goes. Movies would be in the movie theater late over there. So all we did was pretty much fuck. And because of that, my grandfather, yeah, dude. And my grandfather had a lot of kids, and my uncle had like 9 kids with 2 different women. And I have a very complex family tree, even though I have no idea about my family tree because I can't find those people anymore. There's no way to contact them because email is like not really a thing over there. I mean, if it is, I don't have their email addresses, and you can't just pick up the phone and call them. You can't just like look them up online because, to be honest with you, I forgot most of their names. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping it real with you. Like when my parents passed away, I lost a lot of the connection to Cuba, to my own heritage. So if I go to Cuba and I'm single, let's just say hypothetically, I'm gonna have to be careful, bro. I'm into a Samoan situation, bro. Probably not, but you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of weird when you come from a third world country that has like no internet, no email, no phone. Like, it's hard, man. It's you don't have the things that we have in the US, bro. It's a privilege and it's a luxury.
And people don't realize that.
No, they don't. They take it for granted.
They so do. Like, it's so crazy when you see people, they're going on these extremes about this and that, and I'm like, yo, come from a third world country. Like, it's
right,
bruh.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother podcast.
right. Now, but again, I just came back from Japan, and there's things about that country that blow this one away. You know what I'm saying? Like the cleanliness of everything, the politeness of everything. It's a totally different culture. And I know that Hawaii and probably Samoa too have some influence from Japan as well.
Super strong.
Right. That's why someday I do want to visit your state, because not just because Herms lives there, but because I want to experience that. Is it true that they have pineapple water fountains over there? Like, or is that bullshit?
Complete bullshit.
Okay. I knew
wait, pineapple. Hold on. Pineapple what? I think
like I'm talking about like when you get a drink at like the water fountain, like at school where you push the thing and the water comes up, that they taste like pineapple, bro. That's bullshit.
Oh no, yeah, that's complete bullshit.
That might be like an expensive 6-star hotel that has that, but not like regularly on the streets type thing.
Probably at like the Disney resort or something. They have that there.
Of course they do, bro. Yeah. Get ready to fork out half your life savings to stay there one night, bro.
Bro, hey, yo, anytime you come out here to Hawaii, man, if you need a place to stay on in Honolulu, dude, I'm in the middle of everything. We got a 3-bedroom house. Let me know. You got.
I appreciate that. Actually. Yeah. Well, at least I'll know that my cousin's not there, so I'll be
right. But I mean, like, I tell people, like, if you're a dude, you come out here and you're looking for chicks, man. Every guy, like the women to male ratio, for every dude, you got at least 5 to 10 women.
Isn't that how it is, like all over the place, though?
True,
right? Like,
true.
Like, I'm just saying, because I feel like I think I read that in a census somewhere that like it's like that now, which actually is 2020, so we should be getting a new one soon.
Yeah.
That there are, Well, I mean, that's good for us, and I guess somewhat good for them, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh man. So let's talk about it, man. How'd you get into the content? Like, how'd you get into, like, what was the founding blocks of you making, Geekdom101? Like, and because the reason I asked this is so many people, especially in this day and age. I mean, we're in 2020, and people still don't understand this whole content creation thing. They don't understand that it's a legitimate career, and we're entrepreneurs. They think, oh, we're just sitting on our ass, watching anime or playing video games. We don't really work. People don't understand, dude. Like, we're fucking video editors, audio engineers,
entertainers,
literally.
Oh man. And not to mention, on top of that, unlike regular jobs, with what we do, at a regular job, you're not going to have people tell you how much you suck or how much they hate you multiple times a day. Whereas what we do, it's every single day. So, snowflakes on social media constantly bitching and moaning about shit that doesn't matter. or you know, judging you when they've never had a conversation with you. You don't deal with that in the real world. That's only on the internet as a content creator. It's almost like two separate universes in many ways.
Yeah.
But the money is real and the people are real, especially the good ones. And that's the most important thing. So the question is what? How did I get into it?
Yeah. What's that journey?
Well, it's funny because when it comes to like YouTube specifically, I was actually supposed to start a lot sooner than I did because a friend of mine in 2013, actually the same guy who I mentioned earlier from the Angry Mark show, wanted me to do content for his YouTube channel. And he was going to give me some of the revenue. And I just kind of wasn't really interested. I was like, nah, I don't really want to do that. You know, I just didn't think it was going to be that much money. It would be mostly a waste of time. And because I was doing at the time podcasts for free, actually. I didn't even charge for it or anything like that. I didn't make any money off of it. It was just kind of for fun. I had a video game podcast. I had a wrestling podcast. I had started shortly after that. I had the Super Friends show that I was telling you about ended in 2011. But what wound up happening was that Super Friends show wound up spinning off into a website called Super Friends Universe. And then that website I ran for a few years. And initially, when I came to YouTube, it was not to become a full-time creator. It was to recruit people for that website. See, it's funny how the story of life, and we all have this. Every human being has this journey. You know, God, if you believe in the creator, if not, it's okay. But you can call it life or synchronicity, whatever you want to call it, tends to kind of weave this story that has no plot holes, except for when weird stuff happens. So, like, you know, the Super Friends show led into Super Friends Universe, which eventually led into me going to YouTube to recruit people to produce content for that website. And I wound up finding some people, one of which was the Retromancers, which one of the guys who runs the Retromancers is an old YouTube channel, is this guy named Keith, who's actually a scientist in New York. I had him on my podcast recently, and he's trying to develop like life extending technology. So this this is wacky. You know, it's wacky. Like, you meet these people online. Oh, this guy's just a retro video game nerd guy. And then you find out, oh, well, I'm actually by day a scientist who's trying to freaking make you immortal essentially, or live longer. It's like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? It's a trip. I didn't know that back then. But anyway, so there were some good people that I was able to meet on YouTube. But at the time, I didn't even want to cover Dragon Ball. I was trying to recruit people. And then what ended up happening was the Resurrection. This is right around the Resurrection F era, when we were building up hype for that movie. The trailer had come out. I subtitled the trailer myself, and I posted it on this channel called The Epitome of Geekdom, with the idea being that I wasn't even going to – actually, I don't even think it was called that the very, very first iteration. I forget what I was called. I think I might have called it Super Friends Universe. And the idea was I was just going to put like videos on there that would end up being on the website. Well, I met some people who I'm not going to name because it's old, and it's actually a pretty well-known Star Wars guy. But him and I kind of hit it off, and I thought we were becoming friends, but he's very, very shady, and he's well known for the wrong reasons. People can figure out that it's Mike Zero. Oh, sorry. Well, anyway, so I met Mike Zero, who was covering Dragon Ball content, and he was also covering Star Wars. Tried to be his friend, and then I did not like his business tactics. He was very shady, didn't credit his sources, and then he's kind of become a meme now because he literally invents news and invents fake stuff and claims to have leaks at Lucasfilm. All bullshit. I don't know how he even has 100 people watching him, much less, 1,000 or however much he gets. The dude's been lying nonstop for years, and when I found out the kind of person he was, I quickly quit because my whole thing was I have integrity. And the one thing I hate about YouTube that I've always hated is clickbait. I even did a video called The Plan to Eradicate the Clickbait in 2016. I hate clickbait because I hate people lying to other people. And again, the world is built on lies. I hate to say that, but it seems like that's the case. But I feel like Nero playing the flute, Rome might be burning down and the whole city might not have any integrity, but I want to keep my personal integrity. So I disconnected from Mike Zero, and I said, you know what? Why am I trying to recruit other people? I can do it my own damn self. So I start uploading these little videos with Movie Maker, bro. Like these little, like, hey guys, so Resurrection F is coming out in August in America, and so you know, you do one video, it does 100 views. Back then, 100 views was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like, wow. So then another one, then you kind of have more and more fun with it. And then, you know, as the year kind of progressed, and this was back in March of 2015, you know, I started getting more of a following, you know, and because my thing was, my goal when I started doing YouTube is to be different from everybody else. Now, no disrespect to anybody else, because a lot of these people, these creators are actually my friends now, but at the time, YouTube was very, very dub centric. The fans were all dub fans. They did not have any kind of deep knowledge about Dragon Ball. I'm not dissing. I'm just being real. They didn't really know anything beyond what they saw in Toonami. Many of them there have been so many misconceptions and lies about Dragon Ball throughout the years that it kind of became factual. Like, for example, Bulma's last name being Briefs. That's wrong. Her last name was never fucking Briefs, but other sources like Dragon Ball Evolution, the dub, all these things had kind of made people think that was the case, but that was never the case in the original manga or the anime. Things like that had been going around for years. And also, every video on YouTube from all the big creators was the same shit. It was Xenoverse footage or Raging Blast footage and somebody talking over it being a hype man. And that was the whole YouTube platform. It was just that. And I said to myself, I said, okay, that's fine. They can do that. I'm going to be different. I want to do different things. And at the time, there was only a handful of YouTubers that actually put editing work, like, you know, real editing work into their content. Most of them just talked over gameplay, you know, because that was the thing to do back then. Even with Call of Duty, like, people did that. Yeah. And so at first, I just had really not poorly edited, but just not as good as they are now, with Movie Maker. And so I just wanted to do something different. I did not want to do the gameplay footage. That was not my style. I wanted to do something different. And also, I didn't want to talk like them. I wanted to have a different kind of cadence to my voice. Basically, I wanted to do something completely different. And I didn't think it was going to work. Like, my goal when I first started, right, when I actually started doing content regularly, was I want to hit 10,000 subs by the end of 2015. I wound up ending 2015 with 40,000. So it's like,
holy
okay.
Shit.
Yeah, it was a good year, bro. It was a good year for me. I was like, hey, that's great. Like, you know, good, you know. And then, you know, my friends who I had met at the time were, you know, Dragon Ball friends were like, yo, you should do this full time. I wasn't making that much money to do it full time. So what wound up happening was good old IT. Let's go back for a second. So I got terminated from my job at Verizon. My second time that Verizon's fired me. I was a work at home engineer, a high level engineer for their TV department, and they fired my ass. And I knew they were gonna fire my ass. They didn't tell me why. To this day, I don't know why I got fired. I fucking hate Verizon. Verizon can fuck off. I hope they go out of business, even though it'll never happen, because they fired me twice. And so I'm fired and I'm pissed and the reason why I'm pissed was not even because I was fired, because they told me, okay, so if you work from home and the boss calls you and says, come into the office, you're getting fired. Most likely. Yeah. Most likely. Because if you've been working from home for an X amount of time and all of a sudden they want you to go into the office and they tell you to bring your laptop, you're done, buddy. You're done. And I knew I was done. And I told the guy on the phone, I said, am I fired? He's like, we'll talk about it. Am I fired? We'll talk about it. That's code for you're done. Now, what pissed me off is when I showed up that day, I brought my laptop in and I was ready to go. I was like, yo, take the laptop. You know, I'm done. I get it. And the guy there, who was an asshole, was like, you know, sit over there and, you know, just wait for a call. So I sat at my desk for like 5 hours, literally sitting there, bro, playing with my thumbs. I was doing nothing, wasting my damn time. I could have been at home making videos for Geekdom101. So I'm sitting there and then I get a call and they, okay, yeah, you are done. I was like, great. Thanks for telling me what I already knew. And I fucking left and I remember being pissed off and I came home and I told myself, I said, I'm going to try this YouTube shit full time. I'm going to try it for 6 months. And if I can't make enough money to pay the bills, if I cannot make enough money to pay the bills, I will go back into IT. Because if you leave IT for 6 months, you're fine. If you leave it for years like me, it's going to be hard to get back in. I still get job offers to this day. And it's just kind of funny because I always tell them, dude, I'm self-employed now, dude. I don't want to work for you. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm self-employed. So That's pretty much what happened. That's the Cliff Notes version of the story, is that it wasn't until 2016 that I did it full time. And I wasn't making a lot of money, but I was making enough to pay my bills. And the reason for that is because, and this is something I stress to people, is you got to be fiscally responsible. I'm a very frugal person, not so much now, but at one time I was. I save a lot of my money. I don't spend it because of the fact that I was homeless at one time in my life. And when you lose everything, when you literally lose everything, bro, it changes your whole perspective. And I actually got diagnosed with PTSD, bro. I got legit PTSD, like actual PTSD. I know I joked earlier about the Vietnam thing with IT. No, I have actual PTSD from being homeless. So I was working so hard. And one thing I'm going to tell you right now, bro, is people have told me in the past that Geekdom can't take criticism. And that's wrong. I can't take criticism, or I'm sorry, I won't take criticism from some dirtbag on the internet who's talking shit behind a keyboard who has no idea what it's like to be a creator. Now, if you're a fucking creator, I'm not saying you have to be fucking, Philip DeFranco, but if you're trying, if I see your channel and I see that you're making videos and you might not be getting views, but you're at least trying, then there's respect. Because, okay, there's hustle there. You might not have 1 million subs, but I still respect you. But if you're a fucking clown ass motherfucker trying to do with my fucking channel, I have no reason to listen. And that's one thing about life is, don't ever take criticism from people you don't respect. Point blank. So I take it from people who I actually respect. And like, that's bullshit. But one thing I will tell you is that I am very prideful of my channel, because from day one, from the very beginning, I have tried to be different from everybody else. From day one, I don't want to copy nobody's fucking content. I don't like copying ideas. I always look at somebody else to the topic. I will not cover a topic if somebody else did it as good as I would do it. The Dragon Ball Z timelines thing, Kwame made that video 4 or 5 years ago. I can't beat that video, so I'm not going to try. I'm not going to make my own because I can't beat it. And that's respect. That's respect, bro. That's actual respect. Like, okay, you know what? You got me on this one. I'm not going to make the video. That's how I carry myself and my channel. And I've worked so hard for 5 years to produce what I consider good content, quality content, honest content. Never lied to my subscribers one time, even though people think that I did. I've never lied to them one time. And that's why when somebody attacks my channel, even if they're not, separate Geekdom101 from Danny. It's very hard to do that because I made so many sacrifices for this channel, bro. I sacrificed friendships and relationships and all kinds of shit to time with my friends and family, to work. I sacrificed sleep. I sacrificed health. I put my entire life on the line for this fucking thing because of, one, my PTSD, and two, my passion for this thing. So yes, I am very defensive of Geekdom101. Am I perfect? No. Is the channel perfect? Of course not. Have there been some videos that I would totally do over again? Absolutely. We all have those. But I think overall my body of work speaks for itself, and that's not ego. That's factual, because I've gotten respect from people in the entire industry. I'm talking about here in Latin America and in Japan and in fucking Japan. So it's one of those things where it's like, I have nothing else to prove, bro. Like, that's it. So I can do it now because I love what I do. And so just saying that I do take it personal because I worked so fucking hard. Because I worked hard, bro. When Super was around, I was staying up till 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning getting spoilers, there's sometimes where you'll hear those videos and I'm like, all right, guys, so we got some spoilers. I'm talking, I'm dead, bro. Like, I'm Walking Dead zombie, bro, because of, and that's the sacrifice that I made to get the shit up. Not because I was greedy, because I was hungry. That's what it's about, bro. So I'm hoping that somebody will listen to that and not have a little tiny, little eeny weeny fucking little tiny tapeworm dick, and will actually listen to what I just said and be inspired by it and do something. Because you know what? For all the good and bad days, bro, YouTube has given me a lot, bro. For all the shit that people talk about YouTube, I have a house that I paid off, I have a paid off car, and I have investments in real estate and in the stock market, all because of YouTube and the money I made doing this. And I have so much of a great support group, so many close friends, all because of YouTube and because of Dragon Ball. So because of that, I can't just quit, bro. Like when Super ended, how many channels just stopped covering it? I can't do it, bro. I feel like I owe it to my subscribers, whether they stick around or not. I owe it to them to at least produce content until the well is actually dry. And I don't mean the Dragon Ball well, I mean my brain. And I got news for you, bro. You said that your ex-cousin or whatever was wet. Brother, my well is not dry, bro. Let's just say that's about as wet as she is. So we got many more years to go when it comes to content, bro. There's my little promo, bro. I'm very proud of that promo because I didn't rehearse it, bro. I was able to come up with that right off the fly. But it's true though. That's how I feel about it. I'm very passionate about what I do.
No, dude, that was fucking awesome. And it's I can relate to that because, dude, I was homeless too. We have a lot. Yeah, dude, we have a lot in common. Like I never fucked
my cousin. By the way, I'm letting you go. I'm not letting it go, bro. I'm letting that one go. Just letting you know that.
But like aside from that, like
I'm like the computer from Star Wars, bro. Stay on target. Stay on target. You know, that's me right now, bro. Let go, Luke. Obi-Wan's talking to me, telling me to let go, bro. I'm like, nah. Keep going.
No, but like, for me,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No. Like I've been homeless before. I grew up in the ghetto, so I know what it's like when people don't understand. Like when you grow up in the ghetto and people want to talk shit and they want to be about big shit. It's like, no, you don't start shit, won't be shit. If you're gonna start shit, we're gonna settle it. And
right.
people don't understand that.
Because we live in a snowflake era. We live in everybody gets a trophy, and they're all a bunch of pussies. And you were mean on Twitter. Oh, the fucking president of the United States is mean on Twitter, bro. But we can't be mean on Twitter. But oh my God, why do you treat people like that? Like even today, I had a guy say that because I said somebody had a dumbass opinion. The guy was like, "Oh, you're targeting people." No, I'm not targeting people. I'm trying to fucking make them better people. Is it tough love? Yeah, maybe. Is it my job to do it? Of course not. But unfortunately, bro, the reality is, and this is me. I talked to Roberto Blake about this the other night. The world, people are pretty weak in this world, but they're capable of doing great things. Like Superman, like what Jor-El told Superman, that they're troubled people, but they're capable of doing great things. And I feel like so many people out there are so scared and they have so many issues, bro. People have so many issues, man, like mentally. Like, I don't mean like birth defects. I mean like, like this sort of pussified behavior that obviously stems from being raised in this environment, in this, cowardly environment that we're raised in now, and the internet and all that shit. It's created this generation of soft cocks, bro. And you got to be a little hard, man. Look, I went to a predominantly Black and Hispanic high school in the hood. My parents were scared because I was a fat kid and they were afraid I was going to get bullied. And I didn't really get bullied that much, bro. I got bullied in elementary school and in middle school way more than I did in high school, bro. But I'm sorry. I don't want to talk about myself right now. I'll finish that story in a minute.
Go for it.
I'll say one quick thing. The reason why I didn't get bullied is because when I went to high school, I learned how to defend myself verbally and physically. Plus, I had gained their respect because when I was in high school, I was the bootleg king. I even had a little company called the Bootleg Family. I swear to God. And I would burn CDs. This is during the era. This is during the late 90s, early 2000s when that was a thing. Burn CDs. I had Dragon Ball Z tapes that were fan subs that were pirated. That they weren't pirated, but they were fan subs. This is before the dub had caught up to. Like, this is when they were at Raccoon. So I had like DBZ tapes of like the Cell Saga, the Boo Saga. And brother, when I put in those Dragon Ball Z tapes in Japanese, not a single kid in that classroom, not a single one. Why does Goku sound like a girl? Why is the music like that? Not a single motherfucker. That's the next generation that got stuck on Toonami and Sean Schemmel, which is fine. And a lot of them, but not all of them, have no respect for fucking Nozawa, who is the real Goku. And not a single motherfucker cared. because they were watching Dragon Ball. They were watching stuff they had never seen before, and they wouldn't even get it for years. And they were watching stuff that they loved because people love Dragon Ball. And I'm talking about black kids, white kids, Spanish kids, Asian. Obviously, the Asians, they invented it. But I mean, like, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, it all kind of brought us together, bro. And like, I would show these tapes of like Trunks killing Frieza 2 years before it was on Cartoon Network, and they loved it. And this is when anime was starting to really pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And the point I'm trying to make is that, man, like it's got to be a generational thing, because my generation did not give a fuck about sub or dub. If it's new Dragon Ball, they watched it. Nowadays, you got people who are like, I'm not going to watch Super. I'm going to wait for the dub. And it's like, how can you call yourself a Dragon Ball fan and wait 1.5 years to see Ultra Instinct versus Jiren? How can you wait 1.5 years? I want it now. The fact that Dragon Ball Super Broly came out a month in Japan before it came out here, and I went to go to the LA premiere, and they got it a month before in their premiere, I was pissed off about that. And that was a month. How can somebody wait 1.5 years to see Dragon Ball, bro? I got to see it now. I don't care if it's Japanese, Chinese, Arabic, motherfucking hieroglyphics, bro. I don't give a fuck what language it is, because I love fucking Dragon Ball, bro. But anyways, I'm sorry for that little ramble. Go ahead. You were saying you were homeless. I'm sorry. I did not mean to interrupt. Very serious fucking thing you're gonna say, bro.
Bro, I fucking love the energy and the passion right there. No, what I wanted to say was, you know, to touch on the whole homeless thing too. Like, when you've gone through that, it changes,
fucks, bro.
It fucks with you. It changes everything. And people, there's so many people like I run into every day, and man, they take so much shit for granted. I'm like, imagine if you didn't have nothing. Like you lost everything: your house, your car, your apartment, your job, you know, and you're on the streets. People don't understand that.
Nope. I slept in a when I was homeless, I slept in a karate dojo that a friend of mine was running, and he let me sleep there for a couple months. And there was roaches, and I'm not talking about little ones. I'm talking about the big fat roaches.
Big fat ones.
Yes, the motherfucking Samoan roaches. You know what I'm talking about? The palmetto bugs. And it was a very humbling experience for me. I had literally change in my pocket that I would use to go to Checkers, sometimes called rallies, and I would buy 69-cent cheeseburgers when they were on sale. I would buy like 10 of them, and that would be my meal for the whole day. I have like 4 and then 4 later, and that was it. And bad for you, but that's all I could afford. I'd go to Wendy's back when they had the 79-cent breakfast burritos, and I'd get like 4 of those or 5 of those. I had to have a couple of my internet friends legit at the time send me money, bro. Like, it was a very, very hard experience. So the fact that I went from that to owning my own home, it should not be envy or jealousy. It should be people should look at that as hope, because that's real fucking hope. Because when you're in that mess, you don't think there's light at the end of the tunnel, but there is.
No, I went through that, bounced back from that, and it's something I've been talking about lately on you know, social media. Is like, I'm 4 years in remission from cancer. I had colorectal cancer.
Holy shit, bro. My mom died of cancer, so that hits me pretty hard.
And it's like, you know, and dude, my condolences for your loss, man. It's
well, I'm glad you made it, bro. That's the good thing. You know, I'm glad that you're good.
You know, it's why I'm bald now, because people don't understand, like, you going through treatments, you going through all that. Like, I gained so much weight from cancer treatments, like going through the chemo and all that. And, you know, I got to stage 2, and then they're like, oh, you're going to go to stage 3. Then they're like, you know, you may not make it. So Jesus like
Christ.
When I got through that, and a lot of people are like, oh, you had cancer in your ass. I'm like, you know, colorectal cancer is one of the worst ones to have. One, it's easily missable until it's too late. And if they catch it, they can cure, you know, they can do, you know, you can do your treatments and whatnot, or they can cut out the precancerous cells. But a lot of times surviving that is next to impossible. And I'm like, I got right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got through that, and you know, I just promised myself after that. I'm like, man, I'm not even supposed to be here, but I'm gonna pursue and do things in life that I want, because I realize life can be gone like that.
Right.
You know, and you know, and to touch back on what you're saying about, you know, the pride and passion you have for your channel and for your brand and for everything you're doing, dude, I feel that.
Well, and to your point about the cancer and how I can fuck with you, you know, like I said, my mom died of cancer when I was 22. My dad died of emphysema, COPD, when I was 29, and both of them smoked. So cigarettes have literally ruined my family. And then my brother died 2 years ago of which I found out like months after he died, of heart attack. Again, another smoker. And smoking has fucked my family with 3 different diseases. Right. That's the interesting thing. Cancer, COPD, and heart attack. 3 different things. And my brother was in his 50s, by the way. He wasn't even that old. He's way older than me. But because my mom had him from a previous marriage when she was very young, but in Cuba. But the point I'm going to make to your point about that is one of the reasons to why I work so hard too is because unlike a lot of these kids who, again, people take it for granted, you lose your job. Oh, I can just move back in with mom, or, oh, that's okay. You know, we can move back in with our in-laws and with mom. Well, in-laws, maybe if you have in-laws, but I'm saying like, you know, for a long time, I didn't have in-laws. So it's like, I can't just sit here and say, oh, I can go and move back with my mom, my parents. You know, people have their parents, and if I don't have any kids, but if I do have kids at some point, they're not going to have any grandparents, at least not on my side of the family, because they're gone. And it's one of those things where, like, I don't have that safety net. I can't just stop fucking uploading like some of my friends did and say, well, it's okay because my parents take care of me. No, I can't do that because I don't have any parents. It's either I pay for my own fucking bills or I go in the shelter again. And at this point, I'm not going in that fucking shelter again, bro. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees, bro. I'm not going to that fucking shelter. So that's why I fucking work so hard. And that's why I have a very, very low tolerance for people who don't. Like, I really have a low tolerance for laziness. And a lot of times it sucks because a lot of my friends are like this, but they're young. And, you know, I have a friend of mine who I'm not going to name who had a pretty successful YouTube channel for a while. He just stopped uploading. People are going to figure out who it was. And he's a good friend of mine. Juan Black and Fist, really good friend of mine. And so I gave it away. But sometimes I'm just like, man, you're so lucky to have your parents. He gets to live with his parents. And it's like, you're lucky to have that safety net because I don't have that, you know, and I'm not mad at him over it. It's just, I don't have that luxury of just quitting. I have to keep going. And that's why I paid my house off so fast, because I was originally not going to pay my house off fast, but that fucking PTSD, bro, from being homeless, it triggers you. And I'm like, fuck it. Yeah. I don't want to ever get foreclosed. And the good thing is that when you're in Florida, it's very, very hard to lose a home. If you pay off your mortgage and your house is totally yours, the only thing you have to pay is your property tax and your homeowner's insurance. Now, the insurance is optional, so who cares? But the property tax, I pay about $3,000 a year. Like, I'm not going to hide that. That's how much I pay. A little more than that, like 3,200 something. I forget. Well, if you don't pay your property tax, it takes them years to get you. Like, and I'm not saying that I'm not going to do it. I pay it every year, but they don't just kick you out of the house in a month. They build up a lot of interest, and you know, over time, you're going to owe a lot more than what you originally owed. But it's like 10 to 15 years before you lose your home. Because they can't do it. The worst they can do is put a lien on your house so that when you die, it goes back to the bank or it goes to the government or whatever. It doesn't go to your kids. That's the worst they can do. So because of that, I know in my head, right, that I'm never going to be homeless again. It would be very hard for me to ever be homeless ever again. The likelihood of that ever happening, bro, is literally like 10%. I would have to have all my investments fail. I would have to have all of my fucking channels completely fail. I would have to break my legs and my arms so I couldn't fucking work. It would have to be a series of unfortunate, unrealistic events for that to happen, right? And I've done that for myself. But at the same time, you know what fucks with me is the fact that I'm still chasing a ghost, dude. I don't mean to turn this into a therapy session, but I'm still chasing this ghost where I'm still uploading at least 3 times a week. on one channel and the other one a little bit more than that. I'm still working, making sponsorship deals and working on my investments and my real estate. Like I'm still trying to chase that ghost, bro. Even though I'm never gonna be homeless again. When you go through it, it's like a permanent scar on your heart. And you're always trying to make it and to make it to where it'll never happen again. And even though it doesn't seem like it'll ever happen to me again, I'm still chasing that ghost, bro. It's fucked up. Yeah. But in a weird way, it's actually kind of a good thing because it makes you work harder.
Yeah. And like for me with my channel, like I've only been at this 3 years. Last year I hit 10,000, then I went to 11,000 and in subs. And some people are like, man, you can never make it on YouTube. You never make it as a creator, never make it as a podcaster.
Damn.
For real. No, man, I fully agree with you. And I ask these people, I'm like, have you ever even tried? They're like, well, look at your views. Look at your view. So, it doesn't matter if you're interviewing this person. It doesn't matter if you're reviewing this. It doesn't matter if you're streaming this. You have low numbers. I'm like, I have passion hard in what I do. Like if they're not watching it now, they're going to watch it at some point. But I'm going to continue to put out a quality product regardless. And like you, I've given myself, I told my wife, like, look, 6 months, maybe 7 months. If it doesn't work, I'll go back. But I'm gonna give. And you don't have to give up
your dream, bro. You just take a little pause. Doesn't mean you're done. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you could still upload while you work. It's just that it'll be a little bit harder during that time. It's not like you're totally done. Because I will tell you this. It is harder now than it was when I started. And people don't want to say that, but it is. And not because of other creators or the market being, that whole market saturation is bullshit. It's harder now because YouTube's algorithm has changed to focus a lot more on entertainment channels. And I'm not talking about people like me and you. I'm talking about Jimmy Kimmel, fucking MSNBC. You never see any regular YouTubers, with the exception of the really big ones, show up on the, not never, but rarely show up on trending. We never get that spot. It's always Jimmy Kimmel. It's always, and in YouTube's defense, that's where the money's at. So they're going to go there. But it is a lot harder to grow now than it was before. I am an example, bro, of right place, right time, right person. So if I'm keeping it real with you, and this is not an ego thing, people are going to think that it is. And if it is, just stick your head up your own ass, bro, because I keep it real. I keep it real. I was right place, right time for me, and the community needed somebody like me at the time when I started, because there was nobody like me before I came along. Now there's a bunch of wannabes. I've seen them. I'm not going to say no names. I'm really not going to say any names this time. There's a lot of fucking wannabes now with the, doing what I do, biting my shit, claiming to have sources, this, that, and the third, right? All this shit. When I came into this fucking thing, I had resources and sources that other people didn't have, that I had built by being in the community, but privately behind the scenes, and now I have way more. But it's not even about that. It's not even about that shit. It's just, I like I told you, I did my shit different from everybody else, and I was not so dub centric. I had this kind of knowledge in my head of the fucking Daizenshu's and the guidebooks. Back in 2015, nobody had a fucking clue what a Daizenshu was, bro. Like nobody even knew. Like you had to be one of those hardcore like Kanzenshu fans to know about that shit. Like, you know what I mean? You had to be like really in. And YouTube people weren't really in. Not against them, nothing. I'm not dissing at all. They're my friends now. Like the people who were around back then, most of them are my friends. It's just more so like the community needs somebody like me to be different and to kind of revitalize this thing, and to to kind of bring a more educational side, and to kind of expound people and to learn about how wonderful Dragon Ball is, and how it's actually a much deeper show than a bunch of guys fighting each other, bro. There's a lot more deepness involved, a lot more. I haven't even gotten close to, brother. I'm gonna just tell you this right now. I'm gonna tease you right now.
Okay.
People have debated for 22 years about the ending of GT. I know what happens at the end of GT. I know exactly what happens, what it means, what actually happened to Goku. I know exactly what it was, and I'm not talking about a theory, or no, I actually know what it was, and I'm dropping that video sometime this year. I'm hoping that's a million view video, because people have been dying to have an answer for that. I got an answer for you. I know exactly what that ending meant. Motherfuckers have debated that shit for 22 years. I got an answer for you later this year. You'll see.
Okay.
You'll see.
Okay. Looking forward to that.
So, anyways, that long ass rant.
No, dude, I absolutely loved it. And I completely want to be respectful of your time. I know, things are going on this late where you're at. I wanted.
Well, I'm waiting for Conor McGregor, bro. If we're being transparent here, all right, we're recording on the 18th. Conor's gonna get in the cage probably in about 25 minutes. So I got like 15, 20 more minutes left.
Okay.
So we can still talk or whatever. It's all good. I don't think 10, 11. Yeah, they wouldn't even start that fight till 11:30 or 11:45. So
okay.
I'm still here for a few more minutes, bro. Maybe another 30 if you want. No, wait.
Okay.
What time is it? Okay, yeah, like another 25 minutes. So, and I'm just letting you know that that's what's going on. I want to see Conor. Hopefully, he'll lose because I'm not. I don't hate Conor, but I like seeing him. For some reason, I like seeing him lose. He talks so much shit, but I'm entertained by his shit talk. But I like seeing him lose. Anyways.
Well, one of the things I wanted to touch on, because I know we kind of briefly touched on it before we even started the podcast, and it's some of the bullshit that, we deal with as creators. These fucking keyboard warriors, the people they'll say shit.
You're trying to get it out of me, bro. How dare you? How dare you, bro? I mean, I know I cut that rant before we started recording, but I just cut like 2 more rants, bro. Like you're draining me of my power. You pulled the fucking bobbity, bro. I'm in the tournament, and you came up behind me and stuck it in me, pause, and sucked out my pause energy. So I don't know if I can deliver that quality again, man. Look, fuck them, bro. How about that? Fuck them. Deal with on the internet, bro. People like that, cowards, bro.
Completely.
Fucking booger eaters, dog. They eat their own fucking boogers, dog. They probably eat their own shit too. If fucking people didn't tell them it was bad for you.
I mean, in this day in society, man, I wouldn't even. It wouldn't surprise me.
It's funny because the other day I went off on this kid in the comments section because this fucking guy had the audacity to say, and again, this goes back to how much pride I take in my work, not ego, that I'm running out of ideas. It's like, dog, I have introduced at least 2 new series to Geekdom101 every single year I've been doing YouTube from 2015. There is not a single creator on this platform that covers Dragon Ball that has done that. Not a single one, including Team 4-Star. Nobody. I've introduced new series every single year with new types of videos, new types of, discussions, all that shit every single year. Just introduced technique guide. Brand new to the channel. I got 2 more new fucking ideas coming later this year. Actually, 3 more, but the 3rd one's gonna take a lot of work. The audacity of this fucking kid to tell me that I'm running out of ideas. And these people have no channel. They're not creators. So why should I take criticism from a goofball who's objectively wrong? Not even subjectively. He's objectively wrong.
Yeah.
With no avatar, talking shit behind a keyboard. Why should I take his advice, bro? Some jabroni. So I told him, I said, me running out of ideas, I'm sorry, bro. Your family's running out of barnyard animals to fuck. That doesn't mean that I'm having that same problem, dude. So I really got that to that point, bro. And so then I post a community post, right? And I'm like talking about this, like, I've got all these great new ideas. And this guy responds back and says, I think you're a dick. And I respond back to him and I go, because I take pride in my work? That makes me a dick, bro? Like, and I told him, I said, don't worry, you'll be the fucking booger eating champion at your fucking elementary school, bro, if you keep it up. Like, that's how they are, bro. Like, and that's the thing that pisses me off the most, is that they think that they're getting to you, bro. And like, no, you're actually making yourself look stupid. Like, I know that you're hiding behind a keyboard and your real world does not actually see how much of a fucking moron you are. But you want to know something? And here's where shit gets real. When you're on your fucking deathbed, bro, you're going to have a lot of regrets, and I'm not.
Yeah.
And if you don't have regrets, it's because you're too fucking stupid to understand that your life fucking sucked and it could have been a lot better if you weren't such a fucking asshole focused so much on trying to take somebody else down. Yeah. Because that's one thing that I have never done, is try to take somebody else down who didn't poke at me first. There was one time in 2015 when I was a dick to somebody who didn't deserve it, and I apologized to them, and we worked it out. There's been a few other times where I've been a dick, and we've worked it out. I have squashed all the beefs that I have had on YouTube. Every single one, I've squashed it. I have no drama anymore, bro, and I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy about that. Everything's cool right now, but you're always going to have these people, these barnacles who leech onto me, bro.
Yeah.
You know, like I might as well just let them fucking grab onto my pocket and we'll walk around the prison yard and I can sell his ass to the next YouTuber, bro, because they're my prison bitch. You know what I mean? You ever seen Scared Straight, bro? Like, that's literally what it is, bro. Like, all right, here, hold my, you know, when they say hold my shirt and you got to walk around, put some lipstick on them and shit, you know, sound like this guy, Fleece Johnson, bro. I'll pull a Fleece Johnson off. See, I'm a warrior. You know what I'm talking about? Fleece Johnson. Boondocks made fun of him, bro. Yeah. I like you and I want you. And we can do it the easy way or the hard way. It's funny because I saw that Fleece Johnson thing on Locked Up before Boondocks made fun of it. So when I saw it on Boondocks, it was great. You know, like, they recognize the same humor that I have, bro. And that's a great show.
It really is.
That's a great satire of the world right there, Boondocks, by the way.
Yeah, so I want to get your opinion on this, and shit, it might be controversial, but what do you think of these YouTube channels where all they cover is drama, and it's like when there's no drama, they just make shit up just so there will be drama? Like, what is your opinion on that? Because I see so many, especially in the anime community, it's also in the gaming community too. I see it a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like I think the big kind of person who kind of made that a thing was Keemstar. And the thing people have to understand is that Daniel Keemstar, I've actually talked to him before at one time. And he's, believe it or not, he's actually not as bad as people think. I'm not saying he's an angel, but he's done some really fucked up things. But the difference between him and other people is that he's at least got like this weird charisma that people like. Now, not everybody has that charisma, but that being said, I personally feel like if your content is at least 90% talking about other people, I feel like that's bottom of the barrel content. Like, I feel like that's your audience you're trying to get is these weird antisocial kids who enjoy drama because their lives are so vacuous and boring, as because they're so cowardly to ever do anything that's even remotely courageous in their life, that the only courage they have is to laugh at other people's misfortunes. That's the way I feel about it. Again, Keemstar's entertaining. There's a few that are entertaining. Don't get me wrong. iDubbbz is like a genius, I think, sometimes when he does his content cops. But most of the time he does it like for justice, not for, you know, bad. But some of the smaller channels that do, especially if you're a small creator, you know, I've seen a lot of channels that they sit there and they talk about so-and-so's channel's dying and so-and-so can't get views. Meanwhile, their channel was never alive to begin with. So how can you say that so-and-so is dying? Motherfucker, why don't you live for once? Why don't you actually do it full time and make some fucking money before talking about another YouTuber? I'm not talking about myself. I'm saying like in general. So long story short, I've always felt like that's bottom of the barrel content. That's not why I go on YouTube. Like I said, some of these guys are very entertaining. Trust me, they're really funny, especially when it's like roasts, because roast can be funny. Like, I'm down for a good roast, bro. But when it comes off like malicious, and that's the thing is Keemstar does a lot of roasting too, but when it comes off like malicious, like you're actually trying to hurt the other person's business or defame the other person, that's when it's like, bro, you should get slapped for that, man. And in the real world, you would be. That's something that only exists on the internet.
Yeah.
So that's my answer.
But all right, so we're gonna wind down to like 2 more questions, you know, for sake of time. So your opinion on Dragon Ball Z Kakarot that's just released?
Haven't played it yet. You're asking me way too soon. You're asking like a day, like 2 days after it came out. I have not played it yet, so I cannot give you my opinion yet. It looks interesting. The retcons or whatever you want to call them, the contradictions and errors against the manga and the anime are pissing me off. But at the very least is giving me content, because I've already put up a Kakarot video as of this recording 2 days ago or yesterday, I think, and I got another one coming up soon, because it just keeps on fucking with the old shit, and I gotta put it out there, and I gotta deal with, again, kids fighting with me over the game being canon, because some shitty fucking website that knows nothing about Dragon Ball said that the game was canon, even though it's obviously not, because it's a fucking video game. But again, we're dealing with that now. So that's been my sort of battle right now for the past week, is that misinformation.
I mean, like, as a video game, I feel like, for me personally, this is the video game version of Dragon Ball that I wanted. I also don't like all the, like all the canon retcons that they keep doing. I don't care for that either. But yeah, like, I think when you play it, you're gonna enjoy it. But yeah, it's gonna piss you off with a lot of the bullshit. There's a lot of bullshit in it.
It already has, bro. I mean, it already, there's a couple things that have already irritated me, and people who have told me about it aren't even to the fucking Frieza saga yet. So there's probably more to come. You know what I mean? Yeah. But people are saying that because Toriyama helped out with the game, that it's canon, even though Toriyama's helped out with Dragon Ball Online and Heroes, and those aren't even canon. So again, the problem with canon is that, number one, canon has never mattered in Dragon Ball ever. Two, Toriyama's never said the word canon once in his entire career, not one time. You find me in an interview where he said the word canon, I'll give you $1,000. Number three, because it doesn't exist. Number three, and really the main one is that when people talk about canon, they're fucking hypocrites. Like they're very hypocritical when it comes to canon, because they'll sit there and they'll talk about how Dragon Ball GT sucks, it's not canon, but they'll wank off Avengers Endgame and Into the Spider-Verse, which are also not canon to the Spider-Man comics. So you can't have your cake and eat it too, and they come off like fucking idiots, bro. I mean, I'm sorry, but you come off like a fucking moron when you sit there and you say that something is less important if it's non-canon. When don't sit there and watch any of the Dragon Ball Z movies. Don't even watch Dragon Ball Z, because Dragon Ball Z, the anime, is not, there's a lot of change from the manga. Yeah. Don't watch Super. Don't watch anything then if it's so bad. Like, there's a lot of misconceptions, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm here to clear up. Unfortunately, the problem is I'm only one man. I'm not the biggest YouTuber on earth, and my community gets it, but not everybody in the community is going to get it. In the Dragon Ball fan, they're just not going to. They're either fight with me. They'll say, who the fuck is this guy? Who cares what he has to say? We're going to be stuck to our stupid ways, and that's just how it is. It's almost like they treat it like a religion or political belief sometimes. Like, you can't even have good discourse with some of them without them just sticking to their guns, which is, fine, but don't sit there and call me an idiot, because I'll make you look stupid. Yeah. And that's been kind of the battle I've faced, the uphill climb for many years. But we have made progress. A lot of people have understood Dragon Ball better now, I think, in the last few years. Thankfully, Super, in combination with my channel and other things too, have helped. So it's not just me at Super. There's other things too. I'm not trying to be an egomaniac here, but I'm saying from my perspective, people who watch me understand.
Definitely. I fully agree with that. And last question I have is, if there any advice that you would like to give to the fans in the audience here that, would love to get into, like, YouTube or podcasting or just content creation in general? You've been dropping gems throughout this entire hour and 30 minutes we've been going.
Yeah.
But
No, I mean, it's tough because the important thing to remember, is Rome wasn't built in a day. That's number one. Patience is important. The two most powerful things in the world are patience and leverage. If you have both of those things, you can get anything.
Yeah. Patience
and leverage. And so that, to me, now you might not get the leverage right away, but if you have patience and hard work, you'll eventually get the leverage. So it's one of those things where have fun. Like, that's the most important thing. It has to be something that you're passionate about. If you're trying to make videos because this person's making videos or that person is, and you see they're making money, if you're trying to do Fortnite or whatever, and you really don't like Fortnite that much, but you're doing it because you want to be like PewDiePie, you're just going to eventually quit. Like, you have to love what you do. You have to love Star Wars. You have to love Dragon Ball. You have to love doing interviews. You have to love playing video games. You have to make it so that what you're doing is not considered work in your heart. Like, that's to me the main thing. Like, if you actually love what you do, you'll do it for free. So if you kind of think about it from that mentality, you'll never have a wasted day. You know, it'll never be a waste. And all you're doing is just kind of building and building and building to the point where you can eventually do it full time. And then when that happens, of course, then you have to kind of shift gears and treat it like a business. You have to, you know, learn about how to do your taxes, learn about fucking, you know, how to do your self-employment plans and SEP IRAs and all that, like all your, you know, learn that kind of shit. Cause I think, like you said earlier in this interview, people like to think that all we do is sit around and make videos and just upload and we're done. There's a lot more to it than that. And a lot of us I work harder now than I ever have in my entire life, bro. I've never worked this hard, including in IT. But it's weird, isn't it? Because even though I work 80-hour weeks sometimes 100-hour weeks, because I love what I do, it's not work. It's really not work. And it is work. Trust me, it's hard. But it's not like I hate doing it. And I would rather do this and work 150 hours a week. I don't even know if there's 150 hours in a week, bro. Let's just say there are. Then go back to IT and work 20, bro.
Yeah.
That's honestly how I feel. So you have to love what you do. That's the most important thing, because that'll keep you going through the hard times.
Yeah.
And save your money. Please save your money. Please. Be wise with your money. Don't blow when you get your first check from YouTube. That's like pretty good. Don't just blow it on video games and dumb shit. Save it, dude. Save it, because you never know when you're going to need it.
Yeah, it's true. So I lied. I got one final question for you.
Did
you have fun?
Yeah, man. I always have fun talking about myself because my ego's so fucking big, bro. According to people on YouTube, god damn, this guy knows a lot about a cartoon. He speaks confidently. He must have a huge fucking ego, bro. Oh my god, Geekdom. Oh, I don't like Geekdom because his ego's big. Huh? People who have never spoken to me in their entire fucking life, dog. There's been times, bro, and this is some insight about me, where I have felt legit shame for who I am because of the fact that I'm in a place right now that other people wish they were in, including some of my own friends. And I wish there was more I could do to help them. And sometimes there's nothing you can do. You know, sometimes, sometimes they just don't have the passion you do. Like, I don't know how many times I've kicked my friends' asses, upload, and they just don't want to do it. And so it's like, I have this weird sort of shame. And I remember Roberto Blake told me a long time ago, he went to VidCon and there were million sub channels, bro, who were crying. I'm talking about actual tears, crying as they were drinking because they feel so ashamed that they're making all this fucking money and they're doing so well. And it's this weird sort of toxic shame that I deal with. Like, I also have self-hatred and self-loathing, so that doesn't help. But I mean, like those things, I don't know how we got on this fucking, I don't know how we got here. Those things like the ego thing, like this idea that I have a big ego, bro, like it had to have come from like me being very blunt and curt. But it's not ego, it's me being real. It's me not being a fucking pussy ass, everybody gets a trophy, blow smoke up your ass and suck your dick and play with your ball sack motherfucker. That's just not who I am. I keep it fucking real. I put a speak them out today actually about sacrifices. You're going to have to make sacrifices to get anywhere in life. You're going to do it, whether it be money, friendship, relationship, or time. Mostly time. And that's mostly going to be the sacrifice. You're going to have to do it. And if you're not willing to do it, you're not going to make it anywhere. So it's, you know what I'm saying? Like this, but I kept it real. Like, I'm not going to sit there and say, well, anybody can make it. No, the truth is not everybody can make it.
Yeah.
But if you believe you can, go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. It's like the fucking Crossfire. Remember Crossfire, that board game? Remember the Crossfire. Explosion. And that killed leather jacket was like, yeah, like that's what it reminds me of, bro. That was the most intense commercial as a kid, bro.
Yo, but that's real talk, though. I feel bad for these kids now, man. They don't have the shit we had growing up.
Well, here's the funny thing about Crossfire, dog. So my mom bought it for me when I was a kid, right? And her dumb ass, rest in peace, but this is a dumbass thing she did. She threw away the marbles, dog. So I explained to her, I'm like, you do realize that we can't play this game without the marbles, right?
Yeah.
Ruin the game. Fuck, man. That's like me giving somebody a Switch and getting rid of the Joy-Cons. Anymore. You know? I guess I can point at the screen as touchscreen and play some games, but I'm very limited as far as what I can do, bro. Or even better, I give them a Switch and I cut off their hands like Count Dooku. Have fun, you know? It's just not right, man.
Oh,
everybody out there, go find yourself a Crossfire and have fun, bro.
All right, people, you can catch this episode of the podcast. You can get early access to it. It'll be available on patreon.com/Mekel Kasanova, but it's also going to be available on youtube.com/Mekel Kasanova, also available on every podcasting or major podcasting outlet. If you're watching it, you see it all at the bottom of the screen. If you're listening to it, then you're probably already on it.
And by the way, his real last name is not Kasanova, so his real last name, because he's Samoan, is probably like Soliloquy or some shit like that. Anoao or some shit, bro, right? It's funny because like people from like Austria, they have last names that are all fucking consonants, bro. It's like their last name is like ZYXWV. BC, you know, but Samoans are all vowels. A-I-O-A-I-O-A-I-O-L. Ow, bro. And I'm not even fucking around. It's the funny thing about the world, bro. It's like I'm being Hispanic. You know, most of our last names are Ez, Dominguez, Rodriguez, you know, Marquez, Cruz. It's always with a Z at the end, bro. Like Dragon Ball Z. Maybe that's why I like it so much. I don't know. You know, it's all Lopez. It's always with a Z,
right?
It's wacky like that sometimes in the hood.
Yo, for real, man. I gotta have you back on the show again. If you'd ever love to come back on, man, I'd love to have you back on.
Sure, bro. What's the topic going to be about? IT nightmares?
For real, we gotta. People need to know. People need to know about that shit.
Oh, I could talk about it for hours. I could actually tell you legitimate stories of the shit I've dealt with, and like I told you, most of the time it was with management, not even with the customers, dude. That should tell you something. That should tell you something right there. The problems in IT.
Yeah,
all over,
right.
Not just where I live.
Yeah, right. And yo, man, anytime you're out in Hawaii, you need a place to stay, you want to kick it, let me know.
Maybe I'll stop by, bro. Again, that's gonna be something for later on because I just came back from Japan. I don't want to even see a plane. I don't want to look at a plane, bro. You know
how long is that flight for you?
12 hours. Let's see. Which actually it went by pretty good for me because I got to watch Scrooged, Beetlejuice for the first time since I was a kid, which I love that movie even more now because I get all the jokes. What else did I watch? One of the Star Wars movies. God, what else did I watch? I forget, bro. It's late. I watched movies, but it was long, but it wasn't like terrible. Except for the fact that I hurt myself in Chicago before we left. I actually banged up my knee, so I was scrunched up into that seat.
Oh,
yeah, it sucks, but it was good. It was worth it. How about that? It was worth it because I got to go to Japan, bro, and that means a lot to me.
Damn right. All right, and people, with that being said, this is Mekel and Geekdom101. We are signing out. Y'all have a fucking fantastic day. Hey, did you enjoy this episode of the Kasanova podcast? Well, I'm sure you did. And since you did, and you're wondering where else you can find it on every podcasting outlet. Yes, that includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Launchpad DM by Podcast One, and so much more. And the only thing I ask of you is if you truly enjoyed it, even if you didn't enjoy it, please leave a rating and tell us what you thought of it, what you like, what you didn't like, and everything in between. And also, if you're looking for video formats of this podcast and many more, you'll be able to find them on youtube.com/Mekel Kasanova, as well as on twitch.tv/Mekel Kasanova, and new episodes every single Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, that being said, this is Mekel Kasanova, Hawaii's favorite YouTuber. I am signing out. You guys have a great one.